Meeple Talk!
Hi everyone, we're Meeple Talk. I'm Adam.
And this is Stephanie.
And we're here to tell you about our latest games review. Oh, you were going to say something else.
I was just going to say, it's our latest of the Gen Con series that we have to present.
Oh,
So
yes,
this one's
that's
called
right.
World's Fair, specifically 1893. So this is one modeled after the World's Fair that was hosted in Chicago. And as if you've ever been to modern day exhibitions, this is where they highlight the latest and greatest for products when it comes to home, auto, all that stuff. And so this World's Fair was supposed to feature the best that the world had to offer.
Yeah,
And so-
Edison was there, and I don't know if
Everybody was
Tesla was there. Maybe he was
They
at
were having a
later
bit of
fair.
a snit.
Yes, I think for their whole lives,
I think
essentially.
so. So generally, that's what this board is about.
Yep.
And so what each player is going to be, we're representing organizers of the event. And we want to try to approve as many exhibits as possible. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to send out our supporters to reach out and mingle with all the influential people to try to get our exhibits approved. And so the board itself really combines those elements of the exhibition with the actual rides and fairs. So you've got the Master Ferris Wheel, which is a creative way to indicate the round counter, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I believe this was like the biggest Ferris wheel in the world at that time as well. Yes.
It was pretty
Humongous.
cool. They actually take little snippets of what was actually around at the time, including the actual exhibits to be presented. Now you've got your different zones of exhibition types. So we've got your manufacturing sector, your transportation, electricity. This one is agriculture as well as the fine arts. And so generally, what we're going to do is try to get as much influence as possible, because when we get to approve our exhibits, we're going to get these fancy little awards, tokens, and also with that money. And that you'll collect that along the way. So it's one of those things that the most influence, or aka the most money, wins the game.
Yes, and money in this game is called Midway
tokens.
Midway coins, I believe,
Coins.
specifically.
Fine.
You know, it ends up being money, right?
It's like those handful of tickets when you play all those games. And
Yes.
I want that eraser.
So. Oh, and speaking of Midway, there's actually Midway tickets that you can get in the game as well. There's 3 different kinds of cards, actually. One is the actual exhibits that you're trying to get approved. So
I've got Australian grain.
And I've got here a Bavarian sleigh, which obviously they don't use those anymore because they look ridiculous. But there you go. I
take one to work every day.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Huh. To Bavaria?
Yes.
Oh. Wow. That's quite a trek.
I work at a chocolate factory.
I don't have anything for that. So, moving on. So, the idea of this game is you've got the 5 different areas. This 6th area just shows what round you're on. So, there's going to be 3 rounds altogether. And the Ferris wheel counts off how many Midway, I guess they're called... Tickets that each player has collected. And when you've collected the amount that are currently on the wheel, and that depends on the number of players, there'll be more or fewer, I guess...
tickets to be had.
Cars.
Exactly.
No, well, I'm talking about cars on the actual Ferris wheel. So anyway, when it comes around to the end, then some kind of scoring happens for each of the 3 rounds. But so in each of the 5 areas, you'll put 2 cards at random drawn from the card deck. And as I mentioned, there's 3 different kinds of cards. There's the Midway tickets. There's these characters that allow you to add more supporters in different places. And there's the actual exhibits themselves, which you must collect in order to have your exhibits improved. So basically, on your turn, you're going to place, I guess I'm purple, so you'll place 1 supporter in one area, and then you'll take the cards in that area. And then you'll use those cards to basically try and win the game. And that's all there is to it. Thank you very much.
Okay, but the other thing too is that there's the secondary goal as well, because not only are you trying to collect the cards, because the inventions or exhibits that you're collecting, those are the ones you're eventually going to want to approve. But there's got to be a way to actually get those approved. So not only are you trying to place your supporters to collect whatever cards are in that particular spot, eventually you have to have a long-term goal in mind that in any given zone, the first place and second place people, when it comes to the number of influential supporters in that zone, you actually then get to approve inventions of that same color later. So not only do you have to collect, what card you actually really want, but also have that corresponding color for later use.
Yeah. So to put that another way, at the end of the round, whoever has the most of these of that color in that area, they will win a medal. Mm-hmm. And the first place will get to approve up to 3 exhibits.
And that's what these tokens represent.
And then you'll get these exhibit tokens.
Yeah.
And at the end of the game, the greatest variety of exhibit tokens you have, the more points you score. So if you have one of each of the 5 colors, then you'll score, I think it says right here, 15 points for that set of 5, right? If you only have a set of 4, you'll score 10 points for that set of 4, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So your goal is to collect these exhibit tokens in different varieties. And as we mentioned, the midway tickets are converted to midway coins, which is also cash. So at the end of each round, you'll get points for each one of these that you have. So that's another way of getting money.
And then the highest influence, where you get the high value ribbons, also those convert to cash as well.
Because the large medal, the first place medal or tie for first place is 4, and the smaller second place is 2. So that is also converts into points at the end of the game.
Yeah, so with all 3 methods, you're going to add up all the points, and then hopefully you've done well enough in all of them overall to win.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's essentially the whole game. You play your 3 rounds, and then whoever has the most points wins. So what did you think of the game?
Well, I was just going to say, I think it's really, really awesome and it's a lighthearted game in the sense that when it comes to your sense of imagination, I love, even though, for example, when they call, flavor text, so to speak, even though the actual cards themselves, the color is really just the most important part of it, I still really like looking at the cards and reading what type of exhibits were on display at the time. And actually it gives you that, I want to look this up on Google or Wikipedia, just to kind of learn more about what was there at that time. And it was kind of neat, actually, little factoids here. So, for example, there was a Viking ship, not an actual one, actually. But, of course, it says here, Norway sailed this replica ship to Chicago to show that Vikings would have reached America. So sometimes when it just comes to those, if you're a trivia fan, these are the kinds of things that you like to look at while playing the game as well. And also for a strategy game, it is a strategy game. It tests your, short-term, long-term thinking and your planning skills, because it's going to go over the course of the 3 rounds. And so it really is good to test that too. So the gameplay is very smooth. It's very effective. It's not too long of a game, being 3 rounds. It's that it reaches that certain satiety point where you're just like, you know what, that is good. And so I always have a really good time playing this game. It's one that I just enjoy playing again and again. So it's just, I say thumbs up.
Yeah. In terms of the strategy that I like about it, I like the fact that on the one hand, you're trying to dominate in that in a particular area, and you can't just always focus on one area, because the more different exhibit tokens you have, the better you're going to score at the end.
Exactly.
So you have to keep thinking, well, I could put my guy here, or I could put my exhibit supporter there, but then I might not get the cards that I want there. So maybe I'll put him here this time, and I'll get a card that might be useful for this area, and then later I'll put a guy there, and so to make sure I'm, getting in first, or tying for first, or maybe getting second. So you're constantly, your strategy is going, on the one hand, trying to dominate the area, and on the other hand, what are the best cards that I need to gather? Because if you are winning in one area, but you don't have any exhibit cards, then you've essentially accomplished nothing, right? Because you're not getting anything for dominating that area. So you really have to think about, the different angles and what cards could be used for what purpose. So I really like that.
Yeah, I was just going to say on top of that too, because you, as these cards get collected and then they start getting reloaded in a round fashion, you might sometimes feel the need to or the want to just simply collect from the area that has the most cards because hey, I've got a whole bunch. I can do something with it.
Yes.
But that doesn't always lend you to the greatest ability to actually exhibit any of those at all. So sometimes being a little more selective and choosy about where you go does pay off better in the long run.
Yeah.
So it's not one of those games that forces people to play one particular way, because someone even can just try to force the game by collecting as many midway tokens and getting the round to go as well.
So there's that aspect as well. Even though it's a very simple game and it's very easy to learn, there are different strategies you can take. For example, if you just go for midway cards, you can end the round so quickly that other people don't get a chance to dominate another area. So that's also cool. But overall, I would say I like the fact that it's so simple and easy to set up. It's very quick to play. I would definitely call it a strategy game that also is in some ways kind of like a relaxing social game, because there's not a lot of direct conflict, but there's definitely a lot of little things that you can do to thwart, and you're constantly trying to be first in particular areas. So there's definitely a lot of competition to have the most people in an area. So there's definitely a lot of direct competition happening there, but at the same time, it's not in any way kind of like a take that or vicious game in any way. It's a very light game. So I think it has a lot of interesting features put together in a very balanced way, and that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, and I would have to agree. So if you have a chance to check it out, please do. So the publishers, we've got Foxtrot and Renegade Games. It's a relatively new game, so in stores now. Come see it.
Yes, check it out. We really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching our show, and see you soon.
See you next time.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.